Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to build an effective portfolio as a software engineer. Now, this is a topic that is highly searched for that I imagine a number of you have questions about. What should be on it? What should it look like? What should I use to build it? And so I want to cover all of those things today in hopes of equipping you to go out and build the best portfolio possible for you. Today I've got 4 pieces of advice that I'm going to share with you, as long as a couple of real-world examples that do this really well. These pieces of advice are based on my own experience and also doing hiring for a number of companies that I've been at. I looked at a lot of portfolios, especially from people just starting out looking to get in the industry, and it seemed like a lot of the pitfalls were shared among them and pretty common, and so I'm going to be addressing those today. The first piece of advice is don't reinvent the wheel. So unless you really want to, you probably shouldn't be spending a bunch of time on building a portfolio from scratch. That can be a good way to learn a new technology, maybe Gatsby or Jekyll, something like that if you're interested. But for most people, I think the most important thing is getting something up so that you can get something out there, assuming that you're applying to jobs or something like that. So don't reinvent the wheel. There's a number of sites that sell or give away templates for personal websites. So you can go and use something like ThemeForest in the Envato network, or HTML5 Up. HTML5 Up also has a sibling website that is paid, but you get a bunch of templates with that bundle. And then there's something like Squarespace. I don't love using Squarespace because it's usually pretty obvious. All the sites look at least a little bit the same in terms of fonts and stuff. But another great alternative is called card.co. Now, Card specializes in this kind of website, single page websites that are kind of a portfolio or a landing page, and I would highly recommend Card. Card is from the creator of HTML5 Up, AJLKN, who is a bit mysterious online, but he's great at what he does. So that is another alternative. Don't reinvent the wheel is the point. Use what's already out there. The second piece of advice is to show your work, and preferably not the same work that everyone else has. So what I'm getting at here is that a lot of boot camps have similar curriculums, and if you're in a boot camp with a bunch of other people, you're going through the same curriculum as a bunch of other people that will be entering the job market at the same time as you are. And so you want a way to differentiate yourself while also showing what you've done. So I think it's okay to put a few projects from boot camp up there depending on what you've got, but I think it's also really important to come up with your own projects that will push your skills and also show what you can do. I recorded a whole video about how I struggled to do this in the past. I will link it up here. And I just think it's really important to start to engage in some of these side projects as a learning exercise, but also to help your career prospects. So show your work, put your projects on your portfolio site. Ideally, there should be a link to a live version and also a link to the code repository. At the very minimum, if nothing else, don't put broken links on your site. You gotta make sure that those hosted projects are working. It's a little bit disappointing as a person that's reviewing portfolio sites to click and hope to see a hosted project and be met with a broken page. So make sure if you're linking to a live project that it is actually up and running. Okay, that's show your work. On to the next piece of advice, which is craft your narrative. Now, what do I mean by craft your narrative? So I'm assuming a little bit that if you're watching this, you're looking to break into the industry. If you're looking to break into the industry, odds are you're either fresh out of a CS degree or something like a boot camp, or maybe you're self-taught. But the point is that you've got to be able to craft a coherent narrative about why you want to be in the industry. I've mentioned in the past that I don't think money is a great motivator. So even if money is one of your main motivators, I think you should spend some time thinking about the other reasons that you're interested in getting into the tech field. I've known people that have been dancers and artists and teachers and all number of things that have come into the tech industry, but you've got to be able to talk about those things in a way that is making sense to the person that is reading. This also goes for cover letters, but I think especially on your website, it should give some kind of idea about why you're looking to do this and how that connects to what you previously did. So just as an example, I haven't really made this argument, but if I were going to, I could say I was a foreign language major in college, and learning to decode a foreign language is kind of like learning to decode computer programs. I realized I really was passionate about that, and so that's why I decided to get into the field. Something like that. When I say craft your narrative, I just mean it's got to make sense as to why you want to get in the field from a different field. The fourth piece of advice I have is to learn in public. Now, I've mentioned this in past videos. I didn't come up with it. Sean Wang, who is pretty well known in the JavaScript world, did, or he at least coined it. I don't think it's really a new concept, but the idea is to document everything you're doing, everything you're learning, so that you're able to show people that you're passionate and also that you're continuing to learn beyond just a bootcamp or a CS degree or beyond whatever you already know. So if you solve a bug, write a small post detailing how. If you're interested in a topic, do a deep dive and then write a tutorial. You can even be focused on soft skills or where you are in your career. The important thing is to never stop documenting what you're doing. An offshoot of learning in public is that you become well known and you develop a following, and then it becomes easier to do stuff like get jobs or whatever else your goal may be, whether it's launch products or sell courses or what have you. I think people like Wes Boss are a really great example of this. He is just a really helpful guy on the internet. He managed to build a following and now he makes courses full-time for himself. So learn in public is the point, and document everything. Now I want to touch on technology just really quickly before I get to some real life examples. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about hosting. So where should you host it? Assuming this is just a basic static website, some HTML, some CSS, maybe some JavaScript, I think a static host would be fine. So Netlify is really popular right now. You could also use Amazon S3, and you could also use GitHub Pages, which is free. So I'll link to all three of those below and you can kind of take your pick. I would recommend GitHub Pages or Netlify because those are the easiest ones to get started with. Now I'm going to touch on just a couple real world examples, and I'll go ahead and claim that my personal site is not where it should be right now. So do as I say and not as I do as far as this is concerned, but I'm working on it. Some people that you really should look to for great examples are, one, Tanya Rasia. I've mentioned her in a couple of videos in the past. I think that's how you say her name. But she has one of the best personal websites that I've ever seen. It is full of her blog posts and her open source projects. So Tanya is just absolutely the gold standard of a personal website. She is someone I aspire to be like as far as that is concerned, and pretty much in every other way as a developer as well. And I highly recommend you check out her website to get some inspiration. Another person I would recommend is Kent C. Dodds. He is really well known in the JavaScript industry and really practices the whole learn in public thing as well, and is really good at it and makes a living selling courses and workshops, and because of that he has a great personal site. I highly recommend you check out his website and blog. Those are both sites I believe hosted on Netlify, or I'm pretty sure are static and used with some of those newer tools like Gatsby, which I will link below. There are plenty of ways to go about creating your site, and I hope that you're starting to think about a few of those. More than anything, I hope that this advice gets you thinking about the kind of things you should do and should avoid when you're putting together a developer portfolio. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks.